Mama's in the living room watching Judge Judy. I'm in the kitchen eating leftover sushi, and she yells, "Oh, girl, you gotta hear this one." A man was arrested for running a theme park, and when they said, "Where's your license?" he said, "My dog ate it." Oh, you can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. Shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on her Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. Girl, you gotta hear this one. Mama loves to laugh at how absurd life is, says it's all a comedy and I'm her audience. And I love the way she makes fun of the world. She said, "You'll never guess what's true with their girlfriend. It was a man who didn't get us out of the bed. He said, I've been through hell and now I need some help. You just can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up." Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. Shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. Girl, you gotta hear this one.
All caps means you're either panicking or trying to represent yourself in court. Both are mistakes. Your feelings are adorable, but they're not admissible, persuasive, or even interesting without evidence. Yes, Heather hates immunity doctrines. It's a personality trait at this point. You don't need to remind her, she wakes up angry about it. Bring receipts. No, I heard it from so and so. This is quid pro quo, not next door. Screenshots are statutes only. Don't fight each other. Fight the law. It deserves it more. If you're offended, excellent. That means you're awake, paying attention, and probably new here. No diagnosing the host. She's petty, not pathological. And don't diagnose anyone else. Stay in your lane, please and thank you. Do not summon the mods. They're tired, hangry, and may bite when provoked. Disagree loudly if you must. The algorithm eats drama for breakfast. Just keep it cute while you argue wrongfully. If you're taking screenshots of my chat, touch grass, tell your handlers. I said hi and find a hobby that isn't me.
Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. It is Squid Pro Quo, aka Heather, everybody's favorite person to bitch at, yell at, scream at. And thank you Ung Hung Hero for the 50, holy crap, 50 Squid Pro Quo memberships, and they are still coming in. Let me know if there's anybody on there who is interesting. I think it's just the regulars. However, yesterday apparently somebody was outed. I don't know. I don't care. Y'all think it's funny. It's, you know, it is what it is. However, today I do have my pretty and Spawn joining whenever they feel like it. Life is in the way. However, today, gather round. We are talking about a Rule 11 sanctions motion. Yes, the Rule 11 sanctions motion that walked into federal court acting like it was the main character, and it got denied almost instantly. Plaintiffs filed this motion as if they were about to reshape the entire case. They demanded sanctions, they demanded withdrawals, they demanded the court take action. The problem is they forgot the most important part: the law. No citations, no case law, not even a footnote pulled from a Google search at 3 a.m. They brought a motion powered entirely by vibes. And yes, although we don't like the person in question, what we feel, as evidenced by rule number 2 of Squid's petty rules, your feelings don't matter. But then comes Judge Blytho. And let me say now this, because I already know where the comment section is headed, because y'all do it to me every time. People were in the comment section this time talking about more stuff. I know a lot of people are watching are not a fan of Judge Blytho. They're frustrated with him. I know some of you think he's biased. We have beat this horse over and over again. We revised it, fed it lunch, and then beat it again just for good measure. Tonight, we're sticking to this motion and this order and Rule 11, which I have pulled up on my screen. And while we're on the topic of opinions, I also know most of you love Jeremy Hales. I don't hate the man. I see loyalty and I respect it, but I'm always going to call things exactly like I see it, no matter which team they go for. So go ahead and get your emotional pitchforks out and those digital tomatoes ready to throw like fastballs in the World Series. Because for the second day in a row, a lot of you are not going to like my opinion. However, you can disagree with my opinion all the time. I'm basing it on the facts of what was in the motion, what the judge said, and what Rule 11 actually says, not how I feel about people. Because if we were to judge motions in this case based on how I feel about people, I'd need bail money. On that note, how's everybody doing? I feel like my monologue. I'm getting better at writing these things. I write them at night, and I'm like, I go through and I'm like, I want to say this. No, I don't want to say that. What would I say if Ginger was sitting in front of me wanting to rage quit? uh, my only frustration with Blytho is that I'm so waiting for the sanctions on BBB to come through, or for Blytho to even mention they're still pending. He can't. Dead horse, beaten, revived, fed lunch, beaten again. This is the first and the only time I'm going to say this. Think about if your YouTube channel is yeeted and you need to upload a video. You can't. It's not allowed. He literally cannot talk about it, cannot put anything out there, cannot write a motion, cannot do anything until that case is off of a stay. And the case will not be off of a stay until that bankruptcy is resolved. So you can blame them. So we are not going to beat this dead horse anymore. But I understand why you're frustrated, but also know that that's not the judge's fault. Think about having a YouTube video to upload, or like watching a movie and your internet breaks and you literally can't. You can't talk about it. You can't say anything about it. You can't write about it. You can't tell anybody what you're going to do. You can't do anything. You got to keep your mouth shut, mind your business, and move on about your day. Like, it's bail money for future needs. If I haven't made it if I've made it this far in life, never needing bail money, I should be good. Because I was sent a video I found a video the other day and I sent it to a bunch of people that I don't want to be the commissary queen because I don't play well with others. So I'm not popular enough to lead a gang, hypothetically in Gen Pop. And I'm not friendly enough to be commissary queen for the next 20 years to life. So, yes, that right there. So thank you, Andy Johnson. I've been saying this for months, and this is the part where people want to argue with me every day. Every day there's at least one person that puts in the comment section or the live chat, well, Blytho hasn't sanctioned BBB yet. This right here is the reason. When a case is on a stay, you cannot do anything. Cannot do anything. You can't make a judgment. You can't put in a motion. The only motion that can be filed is to update the judge on where the bankruptcy is at every 90 days. That is it. That is all. So when like people keep saying it, it's like I'm just like that's where the dead horse reference comes in, because it's like yeah, if BBB went to court the same day as Randy, he would have handed the sanctions to BBB then. And they keep, people are like, with the sanctions thing, they're like, well, he's not going to sanction him. Yes, he is. Because if he would have gone to court that day, we wouldn't be talking about it because he would have already been sanctioned. But there's a big difference between sanctioning someone like a speeding ticket, you pay your fine, we're good to go, and not showing up for a federal court date. That is not just here's a $2,000 per motion that I think is stupid. Pay your fine and you're good to go. I need to look at rules, bar rules, Northern District of Florida rules, bar rules for 3 different states, but mind you. So, like, this is another thing. BBB had LMNOP do the bankruptcy to save him, not her. That's kind of been my entire point the whole time. And everybody gets so upset and so emotional. And this is why I say your feelings really don't freaking matter. Because when you take your emotions out of it and you look at just the facts, a stay, can't touch it. Can't touch it. Can't update. Can't do anything. No motions can be written. Nothing can be done. No judgments can be made. Now think about why it's on a judgment or why it's on a stay. The bankruptcy. So the bankruptcy is not the judge's fault. So it's like people that are blaming the judge for the sanctions. It's like the delay is not the judge's fault. The delay is Lynette's fault. Like, I have not. That's what makes this case so damn fascinating to me, is twofold. Actually, threefold, but 2 things. One, the only other case that I've seen be this big of a shit show as far as online stuff or out of court stuff is Laura Owens. And that is only because of Clayton Echard being semi-famous. I say semi-famous because if you've ever watched The Bachelor, you know who he is. If you've never watched The Bachelor, you're like, I don't know who he is. But other than that, this is kind of where courts often tell you, oh, it's online. It's only the internet. It's just online. The cops, when you go to file a report, it's just online stuff. I'm wondering if this can become precedent as to courts taking online shit more seriously. You know? Sarah Boone. Well, yeah, Sarah Boone was interesting, but you know, Sarah Boone was a shit show, just in a completely different sense of the word. Yeah, no point getting emotional about something that doesn't affect you personally is just stupid. But I think a lot of people have gotten personally involved. A lot of people have started YouTube channels. I had a channel before this, be it was very small, like very small. I had like 800 people. But I had a channel before this. 6 to 8 months, and I did not start my channel because of this case. So there's that. However, that can't be said for everybody. You know? However, and hope everybody is doing well. We are going to get to this little 1-page motion that the judge filed. He didn't even okay. Actually going to do this a little bit differently than I thought about it. Well, yes, because yesterday people got upset with me, and upset is relative. I say upset is like not a rage quit kind of upset, but the whole like heated discussion. And when I say argue, I don't mean, and I had to have this conversation with my dad the other day, whereas like argue, I don't mean argue like bicker and fight. I mean argue like an argument in a courtroom. One side talks, the other side talks, the other side talks. You go back and forth. That is what I mean by argument, not like a knock down, drag out, name calling kind of shit. So, however, with that being said, I feel like a lot of people, do get, like, people yesterday were like, when I mentioned that I had not found anything, why I thought the way I thought, the federal law does not define what a prosecutor is, and Florida law does not see a prosecutor, as stupid as it sounds, as a member of the court. With that being said, people wanted to argue with me in the sense of, well, I saw this or I heard this. Find the statute, because I couldn't find it. So it's kind of one of those, like, and no one could actually provide me with a statute. So that's why I say come with receipts, because I have no problem with changing my opinion if I have a receipt. But the telephone game on YouTube especially, people put out things that aren't necessarily true twofold. One, sometimes they're just misinformed, or they say I heard it from this person, and then the next person that says it misses a little bit more information. Sometimes not intentional, sometimes intentional. I don't ever want to be the type of person that has to go back and correct. I don't mind it, but I want to do everything I can to avoid going back and correcting shit. So I like to read from statutes. I like to see things with my own eyes, because if I saw it with my own eyes, I'm like, okay, I can vouch for it. I am not the type that goes, oh, this person said it, it must be true. I've seen enough shit on the internet. I've done enough. I've even fact-checked during the last election cycles. Fact-checked political ads on both sides. I don't discriminate. I hate everybody equally. I say this all the time. This is not limited to just this case. I've seen an article on one side of the aisle, and I literally go and I read a publication from the other side, compare notes, and see what they agree on and they don't, and do my own investigating. Because I don't believe what I hear. I have to see it. So when people say, I heard it from here, I have no problem being wrong and changing my opinion. Sometimes people put stuff in the comments, and I'm like, I didn't think about that. I have no problem admitting I'm wrong, but I need evidence. I don't believe people, especially when I don't know most of you, except for a screen name. I wouldn't be able to pick y'all out of a lineup. So like I'm just using this person as an example, because I actually know this person. Like Jeff or Cynthia. Say Cynthia. Cynthia, I know who she is, but anybody could be hiding behind a picture, as we've seen with alt accounts. So it's like, no offense, but I love you guys, but yes. However, you must be new here, and I say this only for the reasons I talked about it. I've literally gone through the Northern District of Florida laws, and it's like 80 pages, or rules of Northern District of Florida. It's 80 pages. The bar rules of Florida are, I think, 100 pages. So when you're thinking this is not his only case, he has multiple other cases. He also has 3 different bar situations to deal with. The Northern District of Florida, talking to the district court judge. I believe, I have not seen it, but I have heard from a lawyer that he has to be in front of the judge. So there's that too. So there is about a bunch of there's a bunch of shit. Like, try reading 80 pages, because it's not just sanctions, like a monetary, it's speeding ticket. He's a relatively new judge in the fact that I'm sure that he's never had anybody not show up for a court hearing before. So he's not sure what his I'm damn sure that I'd want to read everything possible. American Bar Association rules. not only federal district rules, but past precedent on what has happened. That is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages of case law, hundreds of pages of rules to go through. That is not a decision that is made lightly. So you might think of it as 2 months, and I could see 2 months being a long time if this is his only case. But this is not his only case. He goes back and forth between 2 courthouses in 2 different cities. Like, like, you know? So we have to think of it as shit takes a little bit of time. One, because the wheels of justice turn slowly. Welcome to America. And maybe not. Thanks for the 20 gifted Squid Pro memberships. And maybe not. I saw you gift memberships in another stream today that I was lurking in. You are the gifting queen. I hope everybody who got one of those thanks. Maybe not. But yeah, Belitho might be wanting to sanction him more strenuously than he can sanction within his court powers and need to send it up to his superior. We don't know these things. And this is where us speculating and us keep speculating only fuels emotion and those pitchforks. Those emotional support pitchforks that we all just want to like aim at people. And the thing is when you think about it logically, in the sense of it seems like a long time. It really does. It really does. But one, wheels of justice turn incredibly freaking slowly in this country. And it's I think that this is why I think federal cases should have one standard and one set of rules for all states and not incorporate states' rules and there's a case to be made for that. There's also things to argue against that, but that is a good argument. And it's also like it's just a lot of stuff. It's just because we did go through the when I was writing a bar complaint against somebody, we went through the Florida district rules because I wanted to see if I was to write a bar complaint, what it would actually entail. So I have in the grand scheme of things, I have a folder called ethics. Did you what? I had a ethics. This is what happens when you try to be organized, you end up losing stuff. Oh, there's my screenshots. So I have a bunch of oh, there we go. State bar ethics rules. Florida rules and responsibilities, just that file alone is 177 pages. As 261 pages in Florida Rules of Professional Conduct. 261 pages in just that document alone. So it's a lot of shit to go through. And I'm sure this is probably his first time. So he's consulting with other people. He doesn't want to fuck it up, but he also doesn't want to be known as the judge that sanctions. Because that's not a good reputation to have. It's a lose-lose situation for everybody. So I see y'all's point. I just don't quite agree with it 100%. I don't disagree with it. I really wish, like I said, there's a difference between what like emotional Heather thinks. Like I said, if Heather went off her emotions all the time, I'd need bail money. However, there's a reason I think logically is because emotions change minute to minute. Facts take a while. And since the wheels of justice turn slowly, facts are more likely to lead us down a road that's not going to make us go nuts. So, anyway, I'm going to text. I guarantee you somebody passed out today. Bond trooper. So. Shh, not supposed to tell anybody. Not supposed to tell anybody. Yeah. All right. Federal 2. So I have the order, and I screenshotted the order because it was only one page. So I'm going to see if I can try to bring up a different way of doing this. Let's see if I can share my screen. And I can hear the little watching K-pop Demon Hunters yet again. I can quote that movie now. Here we go. It's been quite the day around here. So, excuse me for being a little discombobulated. And this is going to be slightly blurry, and I apologize to people. But I'm trying to compare it with the order with the document in question, and then we're going to talk about it. And like I said, I wanted to ask Spawn what his opinion was of this was, because he's usually here. However, I think he passed out because he was up pretty late last night. And yesterday when I was reading it was at the end of our stream yesterday. So my butt never caught the fact that my backside never caught the fact that there was no case law in there. I was reading it. I was tired. It was the end of our show. It was a 2.5-hour show yesterday. And I completely Squid moves Cynthia's post to the top. Which one? The this one? Hold on. Oh, I forgot to do a there we go. Yeah, it was. He sounded better today. He sounded better when I talked. Well, I didn't talk to him. He sent me a voice message. But actually sent me quite a few voice messages. However, he my second channel. Oh, I didn't see that. Hold on, I'll go look for it. I didn't see it. Maybe I should have. There we go. I found it. Place pinned message. There you go. That is my second channel. But also the pinned message that was there before, feel free to do that too. Hit that like button. And in the intro, when I said beautiful disaster, that's not something new. That's not something that I just found that I say. I have a tattoo on my foot that I got in 2012 that says beautiful disaster. So that's my thing. So we will get into this stream. Let's close this window so I'm not confusing myself. You know when you have so many documents open and you're like, oh, that's not the document that I want. Okay. Image file. So this was the image or the screenshot of the order. I screenshotted it because it was just one page. So instead of opening up the PDF, we can just open that up. So it says this matter is before the court on plaintiff's motion for Rule 11 sanctions, requesting withdrawal of challenges to personal jurisdiction or defendants' defects in service. In the motion, plaintiff seeks sanctions against defendant Teschendorf. No response is necessary. The motion lacks a citation to any applicable case law. and fails to provide a sufficient basis for sanctions against defendant Teschendorf. Just returning a message real quick. To see. There we go. And Sandra, thank you for the 10 Australian dollars. Thank you for covering the case from the court docs. We can all disagree without being mean and petty. Well, we can be petty, but there's a level of petty. It's like funny petty and annoying petty, not pathologically petty or crossing a line where we get arrested. But I appreciate the $10. Well, there's people who gift memberships all the time in here. Unhung Hero is turning the chat green one post at a time. So there. And then there's this. So Kathy is mad. I've heard that from a lawyer, but I have not seen it. So I'm like, it's kind of one of those where I've heard it enough. But just because I've heard it, it's another one of those where I'm like, I still haven't seen anything for myself. Be it I haven't searched that hard, so that's partially my fault. But it's one of those situations where now you have to deal with another judge's schedule. And you also have to deal with Bubbles actually showing up. You know? You'll be hanging around for until I stop posting on this channel because yeah. I want facts, not opinions. Yeah, I don't mind an opinion that is backed up by a fact. But for someone to just go, I heard it from so and so, I get very like, well, I don't trust so and so. So there's that. So it's you know. And with all this stuff going on with YouTube and chargebacks, I don't know if you have heard about Camelot 331. Got a bunch of chargebacks for super chats or whatever. I'm going to be starting super tips. I got to figure out how to do it. But not only does it take less money than YouTube, but YouTube is not helping him very much based on what he had said last night. So, yeah. Busted. All right. Getting back to this. Fails to provide a sufficient basis for sanctions against defendant Teschendorf, and accordingly the motion is denied. 20 years and 3 attempts at dating. In 4 different states. There's that. So, time. But y'all heard his voice. If you weren't here for our reading of the preliminary report from the Louisville crash, Mr. Squid actually made a voice cameo very shortly because I asked him a couple questions and he actually answered them for me. So, I'll reach out to Rackets or I'll reach out to Cody because somebody told him to reach out to Rackets last night. Maybe he would set up. No, there was a lot of the FAA got in our way one time. Remember how I said when the FAA investigates a crash or an incident and the NTSB, they are not nice people. They are not nice people. They cause a lot of stress in a lot of people's lives. Well, TLDR, they caused a lot of stress in someone's life because he touched an aircraft 2 months before it had an incident. And, it was a very stressful situation for a long time. So we just kind of went, I'll talk to you later. But getting back to this, before we completely derail ourselves, we are going to talk about that. All right. This was the motion from yesterday. So it's interesting that in 5 pages there was not one footnote, not a there was nothing. I don't know and not to defend Teschendorf because I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him. I have made it known that I don't like him. He is an embarrassment to the state of Wisconsin. He is a ballless wonder who cannot just accept service and move on with life. However, with that being said, even though I am not convinced that he is the one who wrote his motion was filled with case law. And if you're going to sanction somebody, you need to have some case law. So switching gears to and this is where we go back to here. This is from Cornell again, my favorite website for anything statute wise is law.cornell.edu. Their law school, they have it's basically like a layman's law school library. And it's oh, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. And therein lies another issue. There is a difference between what was asked for and how it was asked for, because with courts, it's not what you ask for, it's how you ask for it. Randy just asked for it, and it this right here, and I'm not sure if it was just rushed through, if Randy is just, I'm convinced, and this is my theory, and once again, feel free to disagree with me, but if you're going to do it loudly. The algorithm thanks you. I don't think, well, how do I put this? I think Randy is spreading himself too thin. And I don't know if it's just him putting pressure on himself to file all these things. If it's I don't know the dynamic. I don't know the dynamic. I am not claiming to know the dynamic. I am not even guessing at the dynamic. I am just making a statement of, I don't know what is causing this, but if you look at some of Randy's filings from Federal 1 a year ago, and you look at his writing now, from a layperson's perspective, once again, don't come at me because I'm not a lawyer. I can judge writing and sentence structure and see what changed. Randy's writings now look like they're rushed. I don't know if it's too many cases, spread too thin, working too hard, if it's him putting pressure on himself, or just everything. But the quality has diminished. And it's, I don't know, if you look at some of the early filings on Federal 1 and you look at this, I can't, it's obvious. I don't know how to be, and I'm not trying to be rude about it. I'm just pointing out a fact. Hey, Ancient Drummer. Well, yes, but I think that there's too many for them. And that's just my opinion. Um, I, eh, I don't know. I honestly, and yeah, yes, but here is my thing. If you are tired, how about you don't file as many lawsuits? Or you say, hey, you need to get a different lawyer to cover this, or we need to find someone to add to this team because I cannot do this. And that goes back to my question that certain people flipped the fuck out on me and went after my daughter in the comment section because of me mentioning how many is too many. This is realistic questions, not trying to be rude, trying to be realistic and look at the large picture. How many is too many? What's that? Yeah, a bankruptcy lawyer for the bankruptcy. But a bankruptcy lawyer is not gonna sue Levy County Sheriff's Office, not gonna do this federal 3 civil rights case. It, when do you say I need a different lawyer for this specific thing, or one lawyer to handle the Levy County cases and one handle, or how many is just too many? Yes. If Randy was hired by the bankruptcy woman, that's even more spread. How much is too much? It honest question. Not trying to be mean, not trying to be rude. So before some of y'all go, oh my god, and like screenshot this and send it back to Jeremy, whatever. Tell your handler I said hi. Like, eh. Well, there is that. However, there's the like, how much is too much? Because I understand Jeremy needing to protect himself. I do. However, you can't sue everybody. When is it going to when is it going to become too much where you just can't go around? Because there is that difference, and we talked about it yesterday, between what is someone just being a grade A asshole, grass-fed pain in my ass, and legally actionable. It's hard to ugh. He was sanctioned for frivolous motions responses, so he has to be overextended. No, well, he doesn't have to be overextended. Oh, coming to the stage to save my butt because I'm starting to get a headache. Uh, oh my god. Oh, Fletcher boy. Oh, I was watching. So before I bring Spawn on, I was watching. Um, oh, shit. Nate the lawyer was live just a little while ago, or probably still is, and I was watching him, and he Kurt was on there, and I was like, "Oh my god, Kurt, stop trying to speak medical and stop making Nate's brain surgery about you." But that's a whole Fletcher boy, that is a whole nother topic for another day where I will need a panel of people to yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. Oh, Nate ended the stream? Okay. Well, he was still live when I went live, so it was like, you know. Oh yeah. How are you, Spawn Trooper? How are you?
I'm good. And before people get their knickers in a twist, I'm thinking that this is a win for chubby freaking Super Dave, aka Jabba the Hoot. Far from it. Far from it. It's a how can I put it? It's a technical sort of technical win. Okay. And what are you whining about? Sorry, my bad. What? Ooh, what? Hey?
How many lawsuits is too many for Randy to handle? And just in general.
To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, I said this the other night. All this could have been prevented if two people would have kept their fucking mouth shut and actually paid attention to a piece of paper which started with, "You are hereby to cease and desist." You know, I mean, but what are you going to do with, on a technicality, what are you going to do with someone who lives just for the simple sake of grifting?
True.
What are you going to do? I mean, like, this is why this case now is, how can I put it? It's repetitive, it's boring, and you know, the fact now that it's people have overstepped the line. You know, there's people on both sides that have benefited from this fallout, you know, in the wrong sense. So fuck them.
Well, and here's another thing to not only was the motion just poorly written, well, sorry, I'm going to say poorly written because every motion that I've ever seen be approved has a case law. This had no case law, and I didn't realize it yesterday because we read through it super fast.
And yes, I was sleeping. I actually just woke up, so leave me alone.
I had a feeling because when I was up last night editing that video, you were still awake, and it was like what 4 a.m. your time.
Yeah, I was up all night because I was working on stuff. You know, obviously my mic was open when I started my stream. I needed to clean that up because I was growling and sniffing and coughing, and
Yeah, you sound better than you did yesterday.
well, of course I do, because I was, like I said, I was up. I mean, I probably have had what 9 hours sleep since day before yesterday. You see, I'm a machine. I'm an infanteer. We don't need sleep. Sleep is for ussies and for people who are weak. You know, it's just like pain. You know, we don't feel pain. It's a weakness, and you know, it leaves the body. Sorry, I'll shut up now.
Chris brings up a good point and says the judge has complained about that before. Yeah. Well, and here's another point in what I wanted to bring up today.
I'll sleep when I'm dead.
There is a difference in how pro se litigants are treated. And this is not Judge Belaytho. This is nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
There is a big difference between how pro se litigants are treated and how lawyers are treated in a case. So not only did Randy not have case law in this,
yeah, sorry, Fletcher just
you're also going to give.
Sorry,
the judge is also going to give a little leeway to small procedural missteps, like what Randy sees is a big procedural misstep because he's a lawyer and a lawyer should know better, except if you're Bubbles, because Bubbles doesn't know shit. However, when special appearance, not to try, like I said, this is not to defend Teschendorf. This is purely pointing out the situation with a pro se litigant. A pro se litigant, and I don't expect, if I had to look up the difference between special appearance and general appearance, I would not expect Teschendorf to know the difference. And yes, I did just call myself smarter than him. You can caption that, send it to him. I don't give a shit. Screenshot that one.
You are smarter than him. Actual fact, 90% of the people in this channel, well, all of the people in this channel are way smarter than him, because most of the people in this channel, if they'd have been served, would have accepted it and fought their corner.
I called him
But
a ballless wonder.
I mean, the fact that look, at the end of the day, you can say whatever you like about the judge or any judge, but belief has to go by a certain set of rules. He has to look at everything and he has to decide if it's prudent enough for him to be involved in it. If it's not, and it's irrelevant, then he'll do something. If not, he'll move on, because don't forget, this is about sanctions. This is not about the fact that Tischendorf failed to accept the service and everything else. So don't get into your head that because he's that it's been denied of sanctions, that's nothing compared to what's going to fucking come to Tischendorf about the fact that he failed to accept the service, and the fact that he's lied, and the fact that he's allowed Matskin, or probably freaking Luthman, to write that freaking motion. Because Tischendorf is not clever or brainy enough to write that on him by himself.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I did a little research on, because I always knew that pro se litigants.
I'm so glad when I hear people say I did some research. I am so proud of you. So proud of you, my darling. Thank you, mate. All right. You should be
private eye. I went into this a little while ago, but there's 3 reasons that I can come up with without even thinking. One, somebody brought up 2 months before the bankruptcy. 2 months to you and I might seem like a long time. 2 months in the span of the criminal or the justice system or the judicial system is not that long. Secondly, the bankruptcy froze everything, so nothing can be done since July. Nothing can be done. So if nothing can be done, it's like getting your channel yeeted and trying to post a video. It's just not possible. It's not going to work. Don't even try it. Don't even ask. No sense in getting upset about it, because it's like I said in my monologue, beating the dead horse, resurrecting it, feeding it lunch, and then beating it again for good measure. So, I said he hasn't been a judge very long, a federal judge very long.
And here's another thing.
So there's a difference between practicing law and being a federal magistrate judge.
And here's another thing. You people may judge, mock, and joke and everything else about doing the research. In fact, I've proven it factually. If you actually people did do their research, we would not be going back and forth talking about the same thing every fucking time. I'm
tired of talking about this same freaking thing. That's why I try to talk about things from a different angle or from a different perspective, because it's the same freaking thing over and over and over and over again, which is why I only talk about it like twice a week.
And do you know how much Dr. Pepper I'm drinking now because of all this shit? I've become a pepper addict. And you know that.
You've said it twice now. He was a law professor before he was a judge, and then he was a federal prosecutor. But once again, there is a difference between being a federal prosecutor, a law professor, and a magistrate, and what you are allowed to do. He has only been a magistrate judge for, I think, 2 years, whereas the judge above him has been a judge for 30 years.
Yeah.
He's actually from Ohio.
I mean, the judge you need to worry about is Hinkle. He's the one you need to watch out for.
Yeah, Hinkle's been a judge for 30 years.
Yeah, and like,
if I ever have to go in front of Hinkle, I'd piss my pants.
Yeah, I mean, like when I read his you know, I did a little bit of research on some of the cases he did. If you think Judge Davis or Judge Goat or whatever the guy's called, if you think they're fucking strict, Hinkle, he would make Hitler look like an amateur. He goes by the book, by the letter, by the all right, but he uses common sense. And the thing is, judges have a certain amount of leeway, and as a magistrate, you've got a certain amount of leeway, and there's only so much you can do until you actually have to pass it on to a district judge or to a Supreme, or take you all the way up to Supreme Court.
But since July 15th, nothing has been done because nothing can be done.
Because of the bankruptcy, yeah.
Nothing. Like, I think people are missing that. Well, they're like, it's been 6 months. No, technically it's been 2. But if you were here a little bit earlier, Private Eye, we went through, the Florida Rules of Professional Conduct are 261 pages.
Mm-hmm.
So Judge Bolitho, and this is beating a dead horse, and I'm tired of saying it, but it's like y'all don't, like, it's like talking to a brick wall sometimes with y'all, because it's like you hear the facts, but they bounce right back and they hit me in the face and give me a headache. But it's like nothing can be done since July 15th. Judge Bolitho has not been a judge that long. So he's probably consulting with people. Mm-hmm. The federal rules of professional the rules of professional conduct for the Florida bar are 261 pages. The rules of the Northern District of Florida are like 70 some pages. He has to deal with that. He also can look at the American Bar Association. He also has to look at the Massachusetts Bar Rules of Professional Conduct, or whatever they're called. The Connecticut Bar. He also has to look at case law as to what's been done before in this situation, because I'm sure this does not happen often, because usually people show up.
Your objection, Your Honor. Your Honor, is my pretty still poorly?
Huh?
Is my pretty still poorly? Because I haven't had a response. Because he was anyway.
So
I get it. People want to, they want everything that's happening right now.
Well,
right, it's been deliberately done.
Hold on, Private Eye. We just need to have a come to Jesus moment. You tell me, deal with more cases than just Hale's, deal with other judges who have to make decisions too, read thousands of pages, and then come to me with an answer in less than 2 months. You tell me, and also with Bubbles being also the added complication that y'all forget to fail to realize is Bubbles is also a defendant in the second case. So there's also that fine line that you have to freaking navigate. And if he goes up to Judge Hinkle, now you're working with Judge Hinkle's coordination of that schedule too, and what Judge Hinkle wants to do, and you're working on his timeline. So you use your emotion more than you're working on emotion and not logic. I understand you're pissed. I get it. Nobody's happy about it because everybody wants to see consequences to actions. But guess what? Suck it the fuck up, Buttercup. Throw it in the fucking bucket. Chuck it in the fucking bucket and move the fuck on, because you're not getting your answer here, because the wheels of justice turn slowly. This is not McDonald's where you go through the drive-thru in 2 minutes, everything is good. That's not the way this shit works. Like, I don't know. Like, it amazes me. And what the Hales people started to watch, like law tubers, especially Jeff, and some others like Nate the lawyer and stuff like that. It's like you would see that, and even like Shizzy when he covers cases and stuff, you'd see them just say things, and it's like, that's not how this shit works. That's not how any of this shit works. Like, that's the problem. We live in an instant gratification world, and the justice system is not instant gratification. Sarah Boone, we know Sarah Boone killed her boyfriend. That took 5 years to go to court. 4 years to go to court.
Where's my gavel?
Like 4 years to go to court.
Ordering in court.
Like, hey, big Tiff dog. Like,
ordering in court.
We live in an instant gratification world. And the thing I learned from one of my coaches when I was in figure skating when I was younger was that you are not getting into instant gratification. And if you get so frustrated with not getting something when you want it, you're going to have a rough life. And I'm realizing that people are living in an instant gratification world in a not instant gratification kind of situation. There is nothing that is instant gratification about the justice system. Nothing.
Are you done?
Yeah. Sarah Boone's phone calls are out. Yeah, I know. I have a couple emails out to some people, but I'm not gonna. Jumpsuit Pablo has made a bunch of videos, and I just don't want to, like, even fair use. I don't want to go over his videos because I don't want to take away views from him. So, because I'm not
do me
that
a
kind
favor. If you're gonna rage quit, please don't, because I'll be here on my own with all these fucking psychopaths.
of.
Anyway, mate, can I say something?
Yeah.
Really?
Who's gonna rage quit?
You? No, I'm only joking.
Oh.
Well, pressing buttons, mate. Pressing buttons. Right. First of all, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Wookiees and Ewoks, members of the jury, Your Honor, and everybody in the stream. Hi, it's me, Spawn Trooper, the most liked. What do you call us over there? Limey sheepshagger that you're ever going to come across. To the people who know me, hi. To the people who don't know me, right? So now, here's the thing that I would like to say. Man, now it's my turn to fucking rant and rave. So you can go stum, and me is going clapping gops.
And please, nobody take offense that he told me basically to shut up, because it is what it is. He does it all the time. I do it to him too. That's what friends do.
Right. Okay. Now you wind your neck in for a second and let me just say this. Love you. Right. Here's the thing. Now, when you've got people going on and on and on, going over and over and over and over and over and over about one thing, about this, about that, right? You are not moving on with the case. The case has moved very slowly, as we've all witnessed. The fact that it's been deliberately slowed by individuals who had absolutely nothing, and I'm talking about physically, practically, electronically, anything, religiously, whatever, had nothing to do with anything to do with between the What the Hales and Lynette and John Cook. Now, history has shown that Lynette Preston has a pair of books of different names. Okay, well, and we all know about that. However, one thing I'm starting to notice, and this is why I am pushing you to do your own research, is that people, bloody hell, nearly burped then, people will not do their research. Now, who's to blame for that? Is it people like myself who talk about this? Is it Squid, or is it anyone else? No, it is your problem. Because if you don't do the research to catch up, and then when you come to streams and you hear us talk about certain things, and then you ask stupid questions, or you say something that's like 4 months old and you need to catch up, either you're in a time warp or you're not listening. Now, I get it, right? Everyone wants the answer last week. I get that, and I respect that. But you can only go as far and as fast as the case is going. Now, we all know that people like Lips, people like Mr. Magoo, people like Skeletal, and people like, Deuce Foreskin, and people like that, like Robbie, Stonebreaker, freaking everyone else, are basically taking their time. But I have noticing that people are like attacking the judges, attacking the lawyers. Okay, you put a robe on, you sit on that bench, and you try to judge over this. Every single person has a different opinion. Every single person would judge this differently. Me personally, okay, I would actually get the U.S. Marshals involved, and I would actually be detaining people, because when you are being served and you are deliberately and publicly avoiding it and making statements to the effect that you are deliberately avoiding service, okay, on a federal court case, me as a judge, I'd be going, well, okay, then, well, U.S. Marshal, yeah, just pop down to Michigan and go and grab that fucker and then pop down to wherever numbnut swamp lizard lives, grab him, bring them all here to the court, and then we're going to serve them all at the same time, and then they can be on their merry way. But that would be in a perfect world. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. This was Spawn Trooper. Back to the studio.
Well, and it's one of those situations like Jen brings up a good point, which I see, Jen, I see your point and I know where you're going with it and what you mean by it. But I also see Devil's fan point, right? What if Belitho didn't do anything to Bruce? What on earth can we do anyway? Not shit. What can we do? We can't do crap, but publicly name and shame. That's the only thing we can do.
Here's the thing. But Bruce Matskin is still to be sanctioned. Okay, so don't forget about that. Just because he hasn't been sanctioned doesn't it means he's getting away with it. The problem is with all this court case and everything else, you have to remember that Bruce Matskin is a defendant in Fed 2. And a lot of people are forgetting that. A lot of people are forgetting about that.
Because he lawyered up, so he's not actually quote unquote writing the motions. Well, he hasn't written one in a long time because everybody else is evading service.
Well, he is right. He is giving them advice. I mean, if it's not him, it's one of the other two psychopaths. But like the thing is, he is involved indirectly. I mean, he gave himself away. Plus, Lynette and John threw him under the bus. So we all know that he's right. But the fact of the matter is, I don't think people understand that. Oh, why is he not being sanctioned? He can't be touched because he is a defendant in Fed 2.
That's also going to be, that's one of the reasons Belitho probably won't be the one to sanction him because of the,
exactly.
Because hypothetically speaking, say the bankruptcy resolved next week. Like I said, hypothetically, because that's obviously not realistic.
Kalima, he will be sanctioned, trust me, because this is one of the reasons Belitho had to hand it over to a district judge, and also because Bruce Matskin tried to get Belitho removed from the case.
Well, you also don't have to be actively on the case to get sanctioned. That's the thing. Like,
no,
you don't have to be on the thing. But here's the thing. So
and now
think about this. We all know how Bruce is. And Bruce, if you're watching, we all know how you are. Look in the mirror, say it to yourself. You know how you are too.
Yeah,
you don't have the balls to come back because you're still subscribed, but you don't have the balls to come back because you'll be on 3 different streams by tonight.
Yeah.
However, Belitho sanctioning Bubbles is an ethical issue. And I say it because of this. Not because Belitho would actually be compromised by any means, but Bubbles has already written a motion in Fed 1 when he was the lawyer to get Belitho removed from the case.
Mm-hmm.
So could you imagine how fast that motion would be in Federal 2 if Belitho was the one doing the sanctioning?
Yep. And also, I mean, a lot of you don't really. Sorry, go on.
He would be like, he sanctioned me. How can he be non-biased in my case?
Mm-hmm. I mean, the fact that
a lot to think about, that we're so short-sighted, and that's why lately I've been trying to look at the big picture. What happens next? What happens a year from now? Because we are so short-sighted with each of these motions. But it's like you have to think about how this fits into the big picture of every case in general. Everything is linked. Everything.
And you know, and Belitho was in every right to sanction both of them, and he has in every right to go after Bruce and continue with that sanction. However, during that period of him trying to find out why he didn't turn up and all the excuses, all you have to do, and this is why I get a little bit perturbed, because you have these individuals who think that they are like keyboard lawyers, and they go, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, hang on a second. Have you actually listened to what I said about the research that I did on Bruce Matskin? The fact that he got fired from his a job working for a company for exactly the same fucking reason.
Carrie, I see where you're coming from. Look, sanctions are not what dictates the health of a lawsuit. I get it. What the
It's the
interesting part
principle.
is Bruce already tried to get Belaytho removed. So if Bruce was sanctioned in Fed 1 by Belaytho, not by Hinkle, but by Belaytho, you know how fast a motion to remove Belaytho from Fed 2 would be in for an ethical issue, that how can he remain biased when he is the one who sanctioned me and now he's the judge presiding over my case? That is a conflict of interest and an ethical issue. He needs to be removed. So there's also that I don't think a lot of people are taking into consideration. There is so many.
Yeah, I mean, like you have to understand that these people, right? I am very. I mean, I'm sitting on a nuke that would blow one person out of the water, and I think that it could actually have retrospectively have charges put on it. However, we're not going to talk about that now. Here's the thing.
I don't know a thing.
Here's the thing, all right? If you look and do your research, let's step out of the box here. I know a lot of people walk around with like blinkers on, but let's try this just once. If you go and look at the history, the mac and cheese history, and even multiple cases, right, where Bruce Matskin has been, the lawyer, you'll notice a pattern, and he is using exactly the same pattern that he's used there on this case. Now, I don't care if you want to be if you want to do it by technicality, or you want to do it by different types of law, or you want to do it by the ADA, or you want to do it by different rules. The fact of the matter is, when you have lawyers, former lawyers, that are being disgraced by losing their license, and you've got one who found his license in a Kellogg's box because he couldn't find it in a Magnum box because his forehead nose is too. Anyway, the fact that you've got a lawyer who is an ambulance chaser who jumped on this, mocked, attacked, and God knows what for nearly a year on a platform of people who were associated at one point with Jeremy Hales, right? And because of Jeremy Hales not willing to be ripped off, he then jumped on that bandwagon using Lynette and John Cook to attack Jeremy Hales. And then when the motions started happening, of course they were going to start trying to slow it down, because that's what they're doing. They're trying to destroy this case by dragging it out. Either he's going to give up, he's going to go bankrupt, or they're trying to ruin his business. I said this on my stream the other night. They're doing it deliberately. However, Deuce Boy, people think that he's not going to get sanctioned. People think he's going to walk away from this with no problems whatsoever. I'm telling you right now, he is going to end up in more crap than you've ever seen.
Well, devil fan, Squid, but if the Fed cases are rolled into the bankruptcy case, then who will be the judge? That will never happen, because the bankruptcy case or the bankruptcy court is separate. The bankruptcy court is, and Jeff, you can answer this better than I can, because you know more than me. See, I'm not afraid to admit when I don't know things. But the bankruptcy court is completely separate from
Yes, it is, yeah.
your normal federal court.
It just happens to have the same lawyer, the two parties just happen to be in different cases with each other. The bankruptcy is totally different. The bankruptcy case is basically a deflection. Like, basically they're trying to the result from the bankruptcy would change. They're trying to change the results on the Fed cases by using the bankruptcy as what they call it, a staging ground, so they can change the answers or they can change the outcomes of Fed 1 and 2 and other cases.
Yeah, and I still don't like the issue of the money is like it all goes back to the money. But I think I don't okay. I don't think she's smart enough to figure out how to file for bankruptcy on her own or that would have stopped the case because the average person doesn't know that if you file for bankruptcy, any litigation that you have stops. The average person doesn't know that.
It doesn't stop, it just goes on stay.
Well, stay. But the average person does not know that. So someone Bruce is my guess would have to tell her that. But I don't
Yeah.
going back to the beginning of the stream where we discussed the sanctions being delayed because everything's on a stay. It's like it
Which
it's
is
like
deliberate.
beating that dead horse. It's everything's on a stay. Nothing happens. Not a damn thing. Um he didn't do that for her. He did that for himself. And I had never thought about that. Well, yes, people who filed for bank. Yes, Big Tip Dog, you bring up a really good point. But the average person who has not, um, I know somebody very close to me who filed for bankruptcy, and I still didn't freaking know that. So
I just think the it's a ploy. The bankruptcy case is a ploy because they knew, right? By putting a bankruptcy, it's going to drag it out. The mistake they've done, and I find this absolutely hilarious. The mistake they have actually done is basically by doing a bankruptcy, they've now opened the doors for scrutiny on anything financial, any money that's come in, going out, everything. And that's not just based on Lynette, because now they can do research of money received by other parties to Lynette or from Lynette to other parties. So that means the crampons and other people are now going to be under scrutiny.
in
So
private eye, you missed the part where Beletho's a magistrate. He's not a full district court judge, so he cannot sanction anyone who is not in front of him. Because Bruce didn't show up, he cannot sanction him. Also, there is hundreds of pages to go through to figure out what is appropriate and allowed. Because you don't want to just go, oh, he didn't show up, we're going to just sanction him extra money, when you could have held him in contempt and possibly thrown him in jail. Not saying that that's a possibility, but like hypothetically speaking, when you could have done all of this stuff. Beletho was pissed. You could see it in his motions that he was pissed. But there's hundreds of pages of documents to go through. Hundreds to figure out what is appropriate, what is allowed. There's judicial ethics rules that he has to go through of his own to figure out how much is too much, what can happen to him if he does too much. Like this shit takes time. You don't read a 1,000-page document and then go, okay, I can do this. Like you have to read and process. Like I've gone back to read some of these documents and I've picked up so much more stuff than I got during the first or second readings because I had time to process the information and kind of put the bigger picture together. You can't just
this is one of
instantly
the
do it, but also he cannot sanction someone who is not in front of him. So Bruce would have had to be in front of him to get sanctions. But if Bruce would have showed up, he would have wrote a check. They would have been fine. But you're beyond writing a check at this point. But you also have to figure out what you can do because this isn't something that happens.
And everything that's happened before, during, and after. I mean, it's very easy.
Maybe you wouldn't have to talk about it over and over again if you actually followed the logic. I am. Please explain to me how I'm not following the logic. Here's the we want to go for this. Here's the logic. Here is the state bar ethics rules for Florida. Which because Bruce was being a pro se or a pro hoc vice, he has to follow. So there is so much in this. You have to read through all of this. This is just one of the documents. You cannot do this overnight. And I'm sorry, that's just chapter 4, rules of professional conduct That's 261 pages.
Maybe Private Eye is one of these people who has a photographic memory and can tell us exactly, in one paragraph what started last year up to date. I mean, I'm not being disrespectful, but you're a little bit rude by
A
saying
little
we're
bit
going
rude?
over and over again when one, we're talking, from our own opinion and also
You're
from
on
comments.
my fucking channel, you goddamn moron.
You know,
Go to fucking hell and please unsubscribe because I am done. Because I am following the logic. You're the one who's got this warped, twisted sense of like expectations and instant gratification. Here is my instant gratification. Can one of my mods handle my light work, please? You're obviously, I thought I was brain damaged, but apparently somebody beat me to it. Because if I'm brain damaged, but I can still follow logic, sir, you need fucking some occupational therapy to work on some, like, maybe some speech therapy to work on some cognitive tasks, because there's something not right there.
I mean, I find it somewhat, look, I get it. Everyone thinks that they're right. Everyone's shit smells exactly the same. It just depends what you ate the night before. The fact that people go over and over, over and over the same topic, or they discuss it, is like one thing. I mean, we're not in a world where we're not the Borg. Resistance is futile.
This is
We
my
have
channel.
our own
Don't
fucking
come here and
opinion.
tell me you're using logic. I'm not using logic, but not actually telling me
Do you
where.
know who that? Oh God, I'm so tempted to say something. No, right? Let me make it absolutely fucking clear here. And I don't care if people are offended a lot by my vulgarity, or
Oh, well,
that I am
you
actually
heard
not
me.
an American. One thing I'm going to tell you: get your fucking head out your asses, people. We have a right to an opinion. We have a right to an
Thanks for the
observational opinion.
engagement.
If you don't have to agree on it. But if you are trying to tell us what we're seeing is not true, or what we're seeing or what we're understanding, listen, unless we've all suddenly become the legal experts overnight, then let's crack on. Let's fucking get in it. Right?
Jeff
Yeah,
says
and
always that one Einstein of LawTube and still has no idea about the judiciary.
exactly. And anyone with common sense would know. That
Where is
there are
common
different
sense?
cases that excuse me, there are different cases that will put other cases on hold until that case has been completed and dealt with. Then the other cases will continue. Now, because obviously there's a word that some people seem to forget, it's called evolution of action, right? Evolution of action means that basically everything that's happened, something that happens that will then make the other thing change direction. That means that, for example, now that the bankruptcy has gone back in again, right, that means it puts on a stay. Therefore, lawyers or paralegals can now work on stuff they were not able to work on because of all the motions being made. And also now, right, another door has opened because of Matskin unlawfully acting as a lawyer, contacting the courts, blah 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 blah, right? And then we got the bankruptcy, which is going to open a fucking Pandora's box of rabbit holes for where all the money's gone and everything else, and the fact that now threats to cause physical damage to property and person. All this needs to be added to this. So let's just stay on the ball, shall we?
So, getting back to how much paperwork there is, the Massachusetts Rules of Professional Conduct and the Code of Judicial Conduct are 320 pages long. So, think about all the stuff that the judge has to go through. Like, all the stuff that has, like, could you imagine having to do that and have other cases at the same time?
That's why you and I joined the military instead of becoming judges.
No, he was saying that I wasn't following the logic because he was saying that forget about the stay. He knows about the stay, but the 2 months between the it was April 2nd, right? Because it wasn't April Fool's Day, because that would have been, it was April 3rd hearing, April 3rd, and July 15th, that Belaytho should have already sanctioned Bubbles in that time period. And it's like, that's not, and I'm following the logic of thinking about the judge's schedule, and like Bubbles is small potatoes in the grand scheme of things because he has other active cases.
Can
Bubbles
you do
has
me a
to be
favor?
in
Why you
front of
got that
him
open?
because he's a magistrate judge, so there's that issue as well. There's also the issue of Florida, or the northern rules of the rules of the Northern District of Florida. Sorry,
Mm. I'm
brain damaged.
Can you, yeah, let's not keep it. Right. Can you do me a favor while you've got that open? Can you look for psychological evaluations of attorneys?
I don't, in this?
Yeah, like if there is a part where there is a request for psychological a psychological evaluation. The reason I'm asking is because I do have a document from a court case involving Luthman. But I did speak to a friend. I speak to one of my friends in the States, and he actually said if you do a bit, and he said this deliberately. He's a lazy fuck.
Oh no, Big Tiff Dog, you're totally fine. Feel free to ignore me. I'm so unfamiliar with this case. I'm trying to get up to speed. There's a lot. Basically, in regards to that private eye guy's comment, he was saying that 2 months should have been more than sufficient time to give Bubbles sanctions. And it's like, that's a very emotional way of thinking because our justice system is really slow. Plus, there's a lot of stuff to go through.
Yeah, and also, who keeps on going on about 60 days and 90 days?
This is 500 pages just with these 2 documents to like figure out what, you know, and the judge does not live in Massachusetts or Connecticut. So he's probably familiar with the Florida rules of professional conduct because he has to abide by them as a Florida lawyer. However, he's probably not familiar with Massachusetts and Connecticut, so now he's got to take extra time. And it takes a while to not only, it's not just reading this stuff, it's reading this stuff and understanding it and processing it and applying it to the situation. And you're going to read 300 of these pages, and 300 of the 320 are not going to apply to what you're needing to do, but you still have to read them because you might miss something.
Right. Going back to the question I just asked you, there's a reason I'm doing this. Is there a clause in the rules where you can ask for a psychological evaluation of a lawyer? There's a reason I'm doing this.
I don't. I'm looked up psychological, and I'm in Massachusetts. Angel, what's up? There doesn't seem to be anything about psychological evaluation.
Right. That's just a point out, approve. So if you're a judge, right?
Do you want to take care of this comment for me while I go handle mommy duties?
And yeah, hey Rattus, I don't mind you calling me a porn star, but at least put a Mr. behind it, or sir. Porn star. Thank you very much, madam. How you doing, DJ Rattus? The reason I actually asked Squiddy Poo, as DJ Rattus would say that. The reason I asked her is to give you an example of like a simple thing, a simple request, and look, she put it in and couldn't find it. So think about it when you've got lawyers like Deuce Foreskin and Mr. Magoo and Luscious Lips throwing their freaking teddies out the pram and then putting in motions. Just imagine how much work it takes. Yeah, I know, Gail, I know, but I was just using an example of like, you know, if you had to look for something. I just think that people are reading too much into this. And you know what? I can't wait until this is over because I'm going to sit there and I'm going to smoke the biggest doobie going. And I mean cigar. No. Don't let them off that easy. No, they're not. You heard it here first. I've been given permission to. No, you haven't been given permission to say shit. Prisoner 6542111 You need to get back on your cell wing so I can actually freaking close the gate. Thank you, madam. Does Mrs. Spawn know about my side gig? No, she doesn't. So shut up. What was I going to say, Mr. Freaking Ratters? Like, yeah, it's yeah. But anyway, good to see you, Ratters. Good to see you up and around. Wait a minute. Why can't I see you? Wait, what? Oh, Ratters has blocked me. I can't see him in chat. Where's Ratters? I can't see him in chat.
He blocked you. Just kidding.
Oh, there he is. No, there he is. 4/5 of the listen, Ratters, I told you last night in bed not to discuss anything what we discussed last night, but no, you just had to go and blab it. You just had to go and let your freaking arse open, didn't you?
I agree. Hey, Eric.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Do you know when this case is over? And I hope that Jeremy Hales and everyone is listening. You know when this case is over, I'm gonna set up a certain thing, and then I am gonna get on camera, and all you're gonna see is my hand holding a freaking cigar, and I've had that cigar for many of years, and I'm gonna sit there and gonna go. And all you're going to see is the cigar smoke. And I'm going to make that one video. I'm not going to say a word. I'm just going to smoke, cough my lungs out, probably poo myself. And I'm just going to sit there and smoke that cigar. And I'm not going to say a word. Not a word. No. Can we carry on, please? Because, like,
yeah.
I mean, it's like, I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, let's be honest. Let's be fucking honest about this. Right?
A shit show where someone got timed out for 24 hours.
Yes. All right. Why should we talk about something that is common sense? I mean, why is it that we have to, I mean, there's people did go to school at some point in their life. Probably about 200 years ago. I know that there's a lot of people who's old, like Jeffrey Montgomery. He's like 200 years old. You know, there's other people, you know. And here's the thing, okay? If you can't comprehend...
Make sure you hit that like button.
Wait, what? If you can't comprehend what's going on in this case, which for some sheep shagging limey 7,000 miles away figured it out while he was taking freaking Deuce Foreskin to play on Facebook last year, then what else can someone say? You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I really want to say some shit, and I know for a fact that a lot of people will like get those little voodoo dolls and start put my name on it and start putting nails in the freaking thing. But come on, people, you can't be
that mean. Yeah,
what?
You know.
What?
Common sense has been on an epic or legendary drop has been for the last couple of decades. Yeah. And Big Tip Dog says, I think that for a case to be merged into the bankruptcy, it has to be directly related to debt collection and or asset determination. Yeah, but possibly you're probably smarter in that sense than I am, but I don't think this one will at all.
No,
if it would have, they would have asked for it already.
Yeah, I mean, even Jeremy said that they could combine all the cases into one, but I personally wouldn't, because the thing is like everything that they're doing in now. I don't know if this is true or not, but you can use all the evidence that is in case 1 in case 2.
And Gail, Tuesdays, I have a plan just in case nobody else comes to play. But this is the stream where I just get other people's opinion and we just talk, because the only
Yeah.
thing that I really had today was as far as new documents, was the denied motion. And I have the Rule 11.
Charlie Murray, I blame the Republicans. I blame the Democrat. Wait, what?
But it's one of those situations, that it's one of those situations where Tuesdays we never have like an exact thing like we have to stick to. It's kind of like we have a rough idea of what we're going to talk about, and then we just talk like friends, and wherever the day goes, day goes. Carrie, I blame the other side. Speaking of that, I still have a lot of research to do. I forgot that it was Thanksgiving this week last week when I said, "Oh, I'm going to do this," or "I'm going to do this all this week." Because
that makes hang on a minute. That makes a point. If it's Thanksgiving, that means you guys filled your faces with fucking turkey. No wonder everyone's talking a lot of shit.
Thursday, not till Thursday, and then Friday is the shopping day.
Oh, sorry. So it's still to come, right? Okay, then. Well, happy Thanksgiving to all you. Your pilgrims and peasants. But I mean, seriously, I just wish more people would do more research on these individuals and actually delve. I mean, there's people like Jeff Montgomery, Gale, other people, they do their due research and their due diligence, and the thing is, like, a lot of people think that we discuss these topics here on Tuesday nights. No, we're doing exactly the same thing that what me and my pretty do on Mondays, but only all three of us together.
And generally on this channel, Tuesdays are the only day where we talk about like out of court document stuff. Like Tuesdays are the only day where I'm like, yep, tell me about the drama. Like, tell me about the other stuff. Tell me about so-and-so, because for the most part, like I said, I couldn't pick half of these people out of a lineup, even if you were paying me.
I could. I got a memory like a gold. I got a oh yeah. One thing that's dawned on me that I thought of today. Last year there was a lot of hoo-ha with Landon Preston and everything else. All the allegations and stuff like that. Does this mean that Jeremy Hales could, on a technicality, ask them, use them as witnesses against Lynette Preston, John Cook, and Bruce Matskin? Because they were there for quite a few months. So obviously, because they were also there, when Lloyd was there. And as we also know, the crampons did, like a lot of people seem to do, is try to delve into, they tried to dox them, not directly, but indirectly about their jobs and stuff like that. And the fact that this is what makes me, this is why I'm very surprised that the Fleas haven't been arrested or anything, is because, or that they still got their account, because with the adoption they brought on the lawyer, the notary, and with the trespass, they brought on Lloyd's brother. So, and a lot of people seem to forget what happened last year. It seems that people only watch what happens in the last couple of months and then keep on, and you have to look at the bigger picture. That's what I've been saying from day one. Because if you walk around with blinders on, or you don't look at the bigger picture, you will miss things. Like, for example, Lynette Preston always saying, "Oh, my daughter has a deadly disease. She can blah, 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 blah." But how many times has Biscuit Boy been on their property? How many times have strangers been within 2 feet, 3 feet of that child?
And when I first started talking about this case, I did a live stream specifically talking about that medical condition and that medical condition alone, not that child specifically, not that child at all. And in fact, I even got mad at the chat a couple of times and like, leave everybody out of it. This is a general education, because I got sick of both sides. That's when I've been sick of both sides from the start. So like, this case is interesting to me, but also what's fascinating to me is interpersonal dynamics and parasocial relationships. And I did a
Wait a
stream on
minute.
parasocial relationships with Dose Reality as well, because parasocial relationships are what's making people on both sides of this get involved when they shouldn't. Yes, less people are getting involved personally on the What the Hale side as far as like interjecting themselves than on the anti What the Hale side. However, people are on both sides are taking shit way more personally than they should,
Yeah.
as demonstrated by the person who got yeeted out of here. He's commented on my thing before. And yes, we've had some disagreements, but I've never had him basically say that I wasn't using logic when literally I try to run this channel based on logic.
That's called arrogance and basically thinking that you're superior and better than everyone else. You got a private message? And that's uncalled for, because at the end of the day, right, we're not here as subject experts. We're here discussing it as friends and just talking about it. As far as I am concerned, I could turn that table and say, well, if you'd actually do more of your own fucking research, then you would actually come to the conclusion where the problem stems from. But a lot of people don't do it. 99, I would say 98% of the people do. They do understand. They do their research, or they try to, and they listen, and then they do their research. But there's that 2% who think that they are better. That everything they say, without any proof or facts, what they say is factual, true, to the point. It's not.
Yeah, and I have no problem with people presenting me with facts that I either didn't know, didn't consider, whatever, as long as you can provide the documentation. Because like yesterday, someone said I heard it from, and they didn't say what stream they heard it on, but I can take a 25% guess.
Go on.
And when I asked, cool, can you provide me with the statute so I can read it? And I don't remember who it was, so I'm not trying to like point out this person, because literally I'm brain damaged. I don't remember names very well.
Do you know what? I think you should get a sign and put it behind you. Yeah, a little bit further to the wall. A little bit further to the wall.
Right there, I'm brain damaged.
Yeah, right there.
My
Put
MRI.
and then put it in neon lights. You know that like that meme where you got that little cartoon character and they've got like a little mushroom coming out of his head.
Well, and here's the thing, Gail. It does seem people are going extreme on comments. It's a discussion. And one thing that I do in here that I try to be different in the sense of cover the case different, because I cover it the way I want to cover it. I don't cover it based on, oh, I heard this person talk about this, so we're going to cover this. I don't have the time to really watch anybody. I'll pop into Rosalind's chat every now and then, but generally she streams about the time when Mr. Squid is home, so it's family time. Megan and Tug stream about the time when it's bedtime for the little. So, man, the only streams that I'm able to watch is if I stay up late, and that's either like Expert or Camelot or Brackets, because I'm up and everybody else is asleep. But if everybody else is awake and home, I'm either lurking and not paying attention, or I'm not watching at all. So I don't do my streams based on who talked about what or anything like that. I find the documents, I read the documents, and I talk about what I find interesting. And one of the things that I want to do, I can't stay awake for anyone. I did last night because I was making if you go back to the very beginning of the stream, I added to my intro, and I made a petty verse, because I claim to be petty, but like the funny petty, like the person who, if you piss me off and I know your email address, I'll sign you up for like, Soma Intimates, like emails, like promotional emails. Like I'm gonna send, like this is why I never let anybody that you don't like know your email, because like, but that's the kind of petty, the harmless but annoying petty. Like I signed someone up for an anal cancer awareness group.
Why is there a black stripe going across your screen? Oh shit, that's your freaking arm to your microphone. For a second now, I was just about to say, who died? Common sense died.
Yeah,
Common.
Um,
That's what
but
you
I,
fucking
I
died.
can't stay awake for everybody, and when I am, I'm don't paying attention. Don't give a
Yeah, but
haters ideas. I already used that idea, so they'd be copying.
Yeah, check private message before you carry on waffling.
I did, but I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh right, okay, then I'll explain it there. But here's one thing that I like. You know, we can sit here, discuss the ins and outs of this case, discuss the basically the abuse of the system which is going on. We know, I know, we all know that certain individuals on the anti what the hell's ecosystem are abusing the system because they know how to get around certain rules and regulations. We know that. But a very interesting question was mentioned, but where is it? Someone put in there, it says, well, let me see if I can find it. Where is it? Here we go. It was from, oh God, where are you? I know. Do you know what? People need to stop typing when I'm trying to find a freaking. There it is. There it is. There.
You
It
mess with
says,
my algorithm.
yeah. For me, win or lose, it's irrelevant. Save the child, which I totally agree on. However, you said something else about win or lose this case. If Jeremy loses this case or wins this case, it is irrelevant because a lot of people have emotionally involved themselves in this case. You can, and that you can tell there are multiple camps. You've got the Jeremy Hale's camp, you've got the anti-what the hell's camp, then you've got this camp and that camp. Now, no matter the outcome of this case, one thing I can tell everybody right now, right, is that I am not going to change one bit. I'm still going to be facetious. I'm going to be sarcastic. I'm going to be rude. I'm going to say it as it is. And if you don't like it, you can fuck off, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm not here emotionally involved. I'm here giving my personal observational opinion, right? And I'm seeing stuff that I don't understand, and I will question it. And when you have a conversation, there's always someone to go, "No, you're wrong. You don't know the American law. You don't know this." Well, no, I don't know the American
law is based on British law, so
right. But I know common sense.
Well, we don't. So there's 3 things I want to address real quick. JKD Buck, if you want to sign that says I have brain damage, put up a Cincinnati Bengals flag on the wall. I lived in Cincinnati. I lived in the town where Cincinnati had their training camp. I will never be a Cincinnati Bengals fan, but my sister is. However, and then there was completely Chucky. Am I going crazy, or do you remember back in the late 80s, early 90s when there was it was actually spelled that way on the bottle? Or is that just me having like a weird moment? And then third, Wolfgang Ricky, when a child's involved, it's very emotional. Yes, I understand that. And as a parent, I understand that because that's kind of what got me into this situation in the first place. If y'all remember going that far, I was on so-and-so's stream and so-and-so asked me one simple question. And all I said was, I care about the child. And it gave Bruce and Fleesa a license to talk about my child choking on an Apple Pencil. And I'm still really not sure how Bruce would choke on an Apple Pencil unless he has the gag reflex of Jenna Jameson. But
can you do me a favor? Can you put your hand up sideways with the fingers at the camera? No, your hand. No, the other way, sideways. Right, the other hand, please. Now put the other one down. There you go. Right, now turn it. No, one hand, your right hand. Now turn it so your back of your hand is looking at the camera. Turn it the other side.
At my Asian hand. What am I doing?
Yeah. Now turn it sideways. No, not that sideways. The other sideways. That the thumb's upwards. Now the finger. Now the back of the hand towards the camera. Hey, Chucky and everyone else, you want to take the piss out of me tonight? Read between the fucking lines. There you go. Thank you.
Oh, you mean this?
Yeah.
Okay. And I do understand where you're coming from. However, there is a difference between being worried about the child and making overly emotional. Because I think it's gotten to a point where everybody's just slinging insults at everybody because they can.
Well, I do anyway. I mean, that's the way I
you
am.
and I do, because you and I throw them back at each other, because that's just what we do. We don't say hi. We say, "What's up, fucker?" Like, if I say hi to you,
ask what you're doing today. Yeah.
If I walk up to you and say, "Hi, Spawn, how are you doing today?" The first thing you're going to say to me is, "What's wrong, and who do I need to go talk to?"
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong, and did you take your meds today? Like,
yeah, or what the fuck's happened? You know,
Yeah.
it's just like, you know, I talk to a lot of people, and you know, I know straight away if there's something wrong. But I think that obviously because there is a child involved, a lot of people know that, and a lot of people are concerned because they've seen how the system does not do what they're supposed to do, and I fully understand that, and I respect that. So it puts a little bit of distrust in these people. However, you can only do so much. You can only say so much. You can only react so much. But at the end of that line, there's not much you can do, because if a governmental body like the CPS or the or the police or social services or social security, you know, I mean, if they don't do anything, then either there is a reason they're not doing anything, or they are extremely incompetent because they're not doing anything. So, you know, have been a parent myself, and you've got two people here who are parents. You know, she is a mother, I am a father, and yeah, I am concerned
for the
that
biology
child.
lesson.
Excuse me. Yeah. No. Wait. What? No.
Thank you
Shut
for
up.
the biology lesson.
No. Silence, peasant. Anyway. So you have to remember that the only people who can do something about this is either them two or someone who's professional enough to actually do their job. At the end of the day, there's only so much you can do. You know, it's unfortunately, but that's the way it is. And to become over emotionally involved in that, it only takes away time out of your life. It can mess with your mental health. It can mess with your daily life. It can mess with everything. So there's only so much you can do.
And thank you, Robert, for sending me I haven't read the whole message, but it is in regards to the Florida defining
Captain Kern's there.
The Florida defining law enforcement is, or not law enforcement, but prosecutors is orders of the court, officers of the court. I'll have to read it later, but he gave me a chapter 454 of Florida statutes addresses aspects of attorneys' roles and their conduct before the court. So it's an interesting, it'll probably be an interesting read. But I can't read it all right now. However, it is what it is. However, but thank you for sending it.
Do you know what, Chucky just hit the nail on the fucking head, actually. That is probably one of the best comments that's came out of his bloody mouth, actually. I mean, that, you know, most of it is crap, but that comment that Chucky just put out, you know, is quite a good point.
So, I'll get to his, but I want to get to two people's, because
no, go for it. No, go for it.
Kind of went back, not they're having an argument, but they brought up two different sides of things, and I believe both of you have a point, and the reasonable thing is somewhere in the middle. Angie says, "What the hell is like a soap opera, money or a hook to the next chapter?" I agree. Not all, but many, because many people will watch a stream just talking about what the hales to talk about the same things over and over again, just to talk about the person they like. But I also agree with you. There's a happy medium somewhere. Put yourself in his shoes. I'm not saying that, and I don't think Angie is either, that anything that Jeremy's doing as far as protecting his business is out of line.
No, he has every right to
protect Jeremy in this case. That's the problem. I say problem loosely in this. my viewership has dropped significantly when I said that I'm tired of talking about old shit over and over again. Also, when somebody else started a channel, but that was the whole point. So I've been told through multiple people's messages. But
can I just interject here? What you have to understand, right? It's like you've got one person not just protecting himself, but his loved one, his business, his income, and everything else, right? Because of a group of people who saw the opportunity and a door open because of the legal ramifications between Lynette Preston and Jeremy. They saw an opportunity to use Lynette Preston and John Cook to be able to then attack by using Lynette Preston and Lynette Preston saying, yeah, please help me, because she's a grifter. What she didn't realize, she was opening the doors to these fucking idiots.
The grifter was being grifted.
Basically. And if you look at the bigger picture, Jeremy Hale's, right, he's not perfect. Far from it. However, okay, all he has done from day one is show evidence, show proof of what's being said, where it's being said, who's saying it. Okay. He's always been on the defense. And if you watch the other side, you'll notice that they're always attacking, always defaming, slandering, making shit up. I mean, like, if it takes a sheep shagging limey to figure that out, why can't you guys figure that out? This is why I don't get emotionally involved. This is why I have a rule. Don't become emotional.
And this is, Angie, I'm on the same page as you. This is kind of how I feel in a sense too. When there are people who talk about it all the time, like all the time. It's the only thing they talk about. It's the only thing they think about. They go from channel to channel to channel to channel, and they will not watch any other content but people who are talking about this topic. Those are the people that we are talking about.
Yep.
Those are the people who, like, I have 4,200 subscribers. I'm assuming that at least 1,000 of them, maybe 2,000, will leave once this case is done, because they are not interested in any of my other content that I'm currently covering, except for this. These videos get 1.5 to 2K views consistently. My other videos, which I actually enjoy more in the sense of, like, I just do these because if I don't keep up with these documents, you fall so far behind, and then it's like trying to climb out of a freaking, I just can't. It's a black hole that I'll never get out of.
Okay, stand by your beds. Freckle Ginger's here. Top of the morning to you. I know where you live.
Freckle, check out the first minute and a half of my stream after the first intro.
I didn't say rage quit whatsoever. I deny all knowledge of that. I mean, here's another thing, right?
Well, and there are people who watched What the Hales who join me for my other content. But, like, when a certain person that would come consistently into this chat that a lot of people don't like, and he no longer comes to this chat at all since screenshots of his chats ended up in other chats or in other streams. However, that being said, I don't stop anybody as long as they're not rude to me or disrespectful like that one dude was, whatever his name is. People are allowed in here. There's only 2 people banned from this channel.
I've got, yeah. And
that being said,
yeah,
he would come to my other content and interact with people in other things like aviation streams and other stuff. And it was like, there's a lot of people on the What the Hale side that don't even do that claim to like my content, but don't actually do that. But, like, he did. So it was weird.
The thing
and,
is,
like, who am I to turn down someone paying attention to my channel?
The thing is, like one thing I have noticed when I first started this, and I need to thank DJ Rattis and other people for giving me the opportunity to actually communicate. What I've noticed is that when someone starts to dislike you, they try to affect your platform. They try to, and I have tried to keep people away. Now, I have written off to YouTube. I've actually put my and I'm more than happy to make that statement right now. I've turned around to them and I said, why is it that you can block people and you can put them on a hidden, but you can't ban them from viewing your channel? And I personally think if YouTube would change their policy where you can ban someone from seeing your channel, even if you sign out, right? I think it would actually stop. In my personal opinion, I think it would stop like 70% of the childish behavior from some of these people.
And Liz, I completely understand where you're coming from. However, there are people who have no connection with Jeremy at all who are using this as an excuse for their soap opera. It's their drama day. Like, it's their drama docket. It's how they get their rocks off. However, there's I this is where I'm like a little torn, because like I'm glad you're friends with Jeremy, because like he doesn't seem to give a crap when people attack me. Like, certain people that he interacts with quite frequently attack me, and he does not give a shit. So
yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's like, and no, don't take it as rude, but I'm just being honest.
Rude. Jesus. Look, let me I'm going to say this because you always explain it. You can be as rude as much as you like, and you know why? It's your fucking God-given right. And if people, and the thing is, you are a human being, and you are genuine, and you're unique. So if people don't like you saying it as it is, I'm sorry. Stop playing these fucking mind games, people. If you don't like what you're hearing, no one is holding your head against the fucking plain glass. So you have to look at the big, scary, hairy spider. Yeah, we're human beings, right? We can have an opinion. But the thing is, when someone tries to manipulate the context and the narrative to their liking, and then try to convince you that whatever that person is saying is correct, but everyone else is wrong, this is exactly why all this is happening with this case. It's because you've got multiple people lying, but they're doing it so convincingly. And the thing is, when you have people who are lawyers doing it,
that's true.
How? I mean, God happy place. God happy
screenshot place. This. You have a point. Like, I'm not going to argue with that. To be fair, he shouldn't have to give a shit. He doesn't know most of us and owes us nothing. That's true. But exactly. It's just funny when you know dynamics that go on in DMs behind the scenes. That's when it gets interesting. Let's leave it at that. Let's just leave that. When the attacks are coming from people who do nothing but talk good about him, who never criticize him, there's the kicker in my mind. I know, and I'm not mad at you. Like, this is just how I talk. This is just how I talk. Mr. Squid's always like, stop yelling. I'm like, I'm not. Like, I can yell if you want me to. But
no, don't yell. I've got you turned down as much as I possibly can anyway.
Oh, it's eerie. It's eerily like, it's just one of those situations that, like, you know, like the person who screenshots the rule that says if you screenshot my chat, tell your minions I said hi. Well, I know who it is, and one of those handlers is.
Mate, can I just say something? I just saw a word. I just seen a word. Well, let me make something absolutely freaking clear here. Right? If you like, and I mean this with the utmost respect, it's not because that word has just been used. It's because, listen, this is not drama. If you want to see drama, then go to a theater.
Oh my God,
where they're playing Hamlet or Shakespeare or something else.
If you want to see drama, we can release some DMs.
Sweet. No, right? No, it's not called drama. It's not called drama one bit. Here's one thing you need to remember, right? If you've got people who don't disagree, disagree with other people, then that's disagreement. If you got people who go, no, this, and this. If I really wanted to, I could take at least 12 people, actual fact, make that 11, sorry. I could actually take the information and everything that these people have done from day one, even before this all kicked off, and I could tell you and show you 100% with factual proof, screenshots, videos, the fucking lot. 11 people who are who on both sides, what type of hypocrites they are. Okay, I could do that like that just now, right now. All right, and I tell you one thing: you guys would leave here with your jaws dragging in front of your feet. But I don't do that because at the end of the day, I'm a type of person. I'm not here for the toxicity, the drama, or the blah 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 blah. Because no matter what you try to do with me, I'm just going to reflect it twice, twofold towards you.
And Hose Picker, I didn't say I needed to. I was just pointing out a fact. Like,
wait a minute, because she doesn't have. Wait, am I for sale?
I wasn't mad about it. I'm just pointing out
No, wait a minute.
like
Am I for sale?
congratulations. Like, I'm happy for you. Like,
why do I feel like why do I feel like I'm being? Why do I feel violated right now after that comment?
yeah, it's pretty gross how behind the scenes work. Yeah, it's just when you think it can't get like when you think it's not disgusting, take like high school and the petty bullshit. And when I say I'm petty, like I ain't that petty. Like
No,
there are people who make me look like there are people who have a dossier on me in a Discord server. Like think about that.
Now that is fucking stalking.
That's creepy.
That's fucking weird.
That is creepy. Hello. Like that's creepy. It's not illegal, but it's creepy. Just creepy. Like that's creepy. Like I don't know what to say about that besides this is creepy. Like yeah. Yep, it's absolutely fucking creepy. Yeah. 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 It's yeah, I was not aware of the dossier. There's a lot of stuff that I love you, Uncle Buck, but there's a lot of stuff I don't tell you to save you from yourself. There's a lot of stuff I just keep to myself because honestly, it's not important. It's not important to me because it really doesn't matter. It says more about other people than it does about me. It's just like there's a lot of stuff that the chat in general doesn't know.
Hello, baby.
So when you see or you don't see people interact, it's like there's reasons for that.
Here's the thing. I would like to say this right without interruption. Thank you very much, like you always do to me, even though it's your stream. Right.
We got about 5 minutes before I have to get going. So
right. Here's one thing that you need to remember. Like for me, right, the importance is the facts and the truth and evidence. That's the importance for me. But also the importance is that with the amount of level of emotion people have put themselves into this topic and into all this, irregardless of what side you sit on, irregardless of who you like and who you don't like, right? When this is over with, where are you going to get that? When are you going to get that kick from? How do you know that the person or the people that have been around you for this long that you've got to use, right? They're just going to walk away. They don't give a shit about you. They don't care. And this is one of the reasons why I myself have like basically sort of just pulled myself away from everything. I've done what I needed to do. I've got enough research to fucking blow at least a dozen people out of the fucking water, but I don't care. I've also got stuff on all these people that, to be perfectly honest with you, if I would put out, would get them into a lot of legal issues. But I don't care. I don't do that because I'm not here to be toxic. I'm not here to be, oh, look at me, I know fucking everything. No, I'm here to point out, look what they said there. Go and do this. Go and do that. All right. And if you don't like what I'm saying, fuck off. But here's the thing. At the end of the day, you are responsible for injecting yourself into this, not anyone else. I just have an opinion and I say it as it is. People don't like it.
Freckled says I make guest appearances in that dossier. I'm sure
I don't mean fuck off. I'm only joking about that. You know who you are, Jeff.
Yeah, you guys would be amazed. I bet a lot of people here have dossiers on them. Yeah, not
Look,
like this.
if you think that's a dossier, you should see my P file.
These particular people are looking for evidence of me stalking them.
Thank you, darling. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you,
I don't
if
even know
they
if
got,
they have channels anymore.
yeah, and also if you want to see my dossier, I mean, I'd be more than happy to send you my P file. I mean, you could use it to fucking anchor a boat somewhere, but yeah. But at the end of the day, I just think, can I say this without a filter, please? Can I say this without a filter? Stop fucking getting involved in shit that hasn't got no concern to you, for fuck's sake. If you've got an opinion, then have that fucking opinion. But if you're not involved in it and it doesn't affect you and it won't affect you, have an opinion, fine. But don't allow yourself to become involved in it emotionally, because it's got nothing to do with you. You can talk shit about anything you like. This court case is nothing to do with us. We're watching it unfold. We're watching what's going on, and we have an opinion. Don't make yourself ill, or don't make yourself a target for people who don't agree with you, because that's been happening over the last year. There are people out there who will use everything they can to undermine and mock you for your opinion, and then make themselves look good. Fuck them. You want my opinion unfiltered? You can just let me know. Anyway, I'm going to smoke a cigarette now with my new lighter.
Tell us how you really feel.
Now I'm going to tell you how I really feel.
um,
Once I was a small boy. Sorry, go on.
Oh boy, there we go.
Did you just kick me off?
No, you can still you can still be
shit.
seen.
Yeah, sorry. I just went. I've disappeared.
I just went to click on this
Yeah,
and
I'm
it
sorry. Yeah,
didn't.
no. You carry on what you're doing.
There we go.
Yeah,
does that
it's
make you
it's called
feel?
going into a petrol station or into a bank and say, "Thanks for giving my money back." Yeah, there you go.
All right. So we have well, I don't have. This is what I had to do. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Final thoughts. Now that you so what I try to do on this channel is I try to have discussions that are difficult, that are not the simple this is the document, it sucks, I hate the judge, here's this. It's why did the judge do this? It's why did Randy write this? Why did stupid Dave or whatever and then I don't like to call people by nicknames except for he accused me of shit a long time ago and then a year later tried to like call the cops on me. So like and say he was scared of me a year later when we live 1,000 miles apart, bro. Like, meh. Anyway, so it's weird. It's weird. People are weird. So I will call him Stupid Dave or because I call him the ballless wonder. Milltown's worst. Either way, it's not about what they did. It's why. Like you can see, like this is my area of interest. Like I like knowing what makes people tick. So sometimes we have discussions where I don't know the answer. I am not claiming to be the expert. I am asking questions to get people thinking. And yes, some people get mad at me for that. It's interesting how people get mad at me when all I'm doing and it's not even a motion in his favor. It's a motion that's not in Randy's favor. Like it's not like I would say less about this being a positive thing for Stupid Dave and just a loss for Randy for right now. Because there's always the potential for more in the future when he when inevitably goes to court. Yeah, it's 259, big fucking deal. It's one of those situations of I try to have discussions on here where sometimes even I'm like, I don't know what the right answer is. It's a difficult question. And then people personally attack me for my just bringing it up because it doesn't align with their views. And it's like, well, I'm not going to change being me because I've been this way for 40 years and I'm particularly happy. And unless my parents Mr. Squid or my daughter want me to change, good luck. So I'm just gonna keep being me. But with that, discussions on this channel will tend to be difficult. They will not just be, this is the way it is, this is how I feel. It's, look at the big picture. This is why. Think about the context of situations like the judge and having other cases and having thousands of pages of paperwork to go through to figure out what he's able to do. You don't just make these decisions overnight. Our justice system is slow. Our justice system is slow. This is not this, as I think Angie, it was either you or somebody else's. This is not Law and Order. It's not finding the suspect and getting a conviction in an hour. It's slow. Sarah Boone was February of 2020, I think, to October of 2024 before she got a guilty verdict, and now she's appealing. Ugh. That's a whole issue in itself. However, 4 years for someone that we knew stuffed their boyfriend in a suitcase, recorded it, and left him to perish. It seems like an open and shut case, but 4 years of BS prior to going to trial. Think about that. 4 years for Sarah Boone. This is not an overnight thing. You're not going to win everything. And just because Randy got a motion against him, it's not a criticism on Randy, or it's not a win for Super Dave. It's just a, hey, we need to figure out why this has happened. Is this a bigger problem? And where does this end? And that's kind of been my question lately, is where does this end? Because it doesn't seem like it wasn't meant to be, but it wasn't meant, it really wasn't meant to be, but it kind of was. I didn't mean it like that. Oh, rest in peace. It's just, I don't care about others. I care about your honesty and willingness to have an open mind. It's the kind of thing of like, there's a lot of components to life. I always say on this channel, we don't live in a black and white world. Everybody wants things to be yes or no, clear cut, black and white, this or that. And we live in this giant gray area with multiple variables and factors leading to various decisions. And when we make decisions based on emotion, 5 minutes later, our emotions are different. And that decision may be something we end up regretting. And maybe that has come to fruition with some decisions that have been made in this case on both sides. I don't know. This is one of the reasons that I don't really talk to a lot of people on both sides, is because I want my own opinion. And I don't want my opinion to be shaped by, well, I'm friends with this person, or I talk to this person every day, or I hate this person, or I want my opinions to be based on what I see in the documents and what the judge sees. Because the judge doesn't see or care about all of this crap. The judge only sees what's on the docket. Yeah. So take everything here. Feel free to disagree with me. But one, bring your receipts. 2023 was some issues, but I believe the start, and I wasn't here for the start. I did not know who Jeremy Hales was before he was on Megan's stream. But with that being said, it's been a couple of years now, and it's crazy. It's just weird. It's just weird. And people are delaying it
deliberately.
Yeah, I'm not a cool kid. I've never been part of the cool kids club in the sense of I always think for myself, and never, I hate the group think mentality of you have to think this way because I think this way. So Freckled Gender, thanks for the $2 super chat. Squid, read host pickers question. Squid, can I email you, discuss an issue facing is more suited for your other channel? Oh yes, of course. Of course. Always feel free to email me on my channel email. It's squidproquo24@gmail. I might not always be on the quickness with responding to you, but if I don't respond to you within a day, just send me an email saying, hey, don't forget about me, because it's not intentional, I promise. Yeah. So But with that said, Spawn, you get the final thoughts before we
To be perfectly honest with you, while you were talking and I was listening to what you were saying, and so much went across my mind about this whole case and everything. And like, I am afraid of repeating myself, and I'm afraid of like just going around in a circle. Now, a lot of people think, yes, the people are making comments about the Fleas are going to call this a win. It's on a technicality. It's just basically, look, it's going to happen. You're going to, sometimes it's just going to agree and disagree. Who cares? But this has been going on so long now, and the biggest issue is it's causing a divide in in people. The internet is already a septic freaking cesspool anyway. And then when you add people's emotions to it, it only turns into a cesspool with a minefield where you have to walk across it with earphones and blindfold. Now, I'm not going to change who I am and what I am. I'll call it out. There's a lot of people out there who are trying to manipulate people into the same way they think. So they have like a little sort of like flying monkeys, as they call it. I think you call them. Now, at the end of the day, right, that's their choice, but the credibility will diminish the more people pay attention and and watch what they do. Now, there's a lot of people involved in this. We're talking about human beings. We're not talking about something that you can put on your shelf or on your fire mantle and go, oh, look, isn't that nice? We're talking about human beings. And we're also talking about a child as well. And like, over the last few months, people have brought up the child, and I don't like discussing it, and I doubt very much Squid likes discussing it because it's not a joke. But at the same time, what we are also seeing, which people are probably shocked by, is how governmental bodies like the CPS and the police deal with things like this. And that needs to be looked in. So there should be a petition, or there should be something where someone, writes off to the government or something like that. But you're going to get people who will do that for the clout, especially if they're if they're creators or on a platform. However, if you've got a situation where it should be looked into, the system needs to change or needs to wake up, then fine. But at the end of the day, when this is all done and over with, there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to be here anymore. A lot of people are going to disappear. A lot of people are going to go back into their normal daily thing, what they do on YouTube. But one thing I can assure you of, Squid's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. And a lot of people that you've met here are probably not going to go anywhere. We're going to continue to enjoy each other's company, and we're going to continue to do what we do. And all I can say is this: stop getting emotionally involved in something that has got no bearing on you. Concentrate on what you're doing. Concentrate on your own life in the real world, and concentrate on the issues that you've got. And if you need to talk about those issues, or you need help with those issues, I think you've met enough people who could probably like point you in the right direction or give you a little bit of advice on, yeah. But like this whole case, like when it comes to people like Stupid Dave and all these other freaking clowns, I mean, if you're blind, then you didn't see that they all tried to avoid being served. That speaks volumes to me. That speaks volumes. But anyway, on that note,
speaking of still going to be here, I am currently sorting out and planning how I am going to make all those short form videos on the docket for the NTSB docket for the DCA collision. I'm trying to pick 5 of the 205 docket items, 200-ish of which are relevant. Some are like witness lists and who the witnesses are. Shit, that's not important.
It's been confirmed. It has been confirmed.
But
it was confirmed.
Yes.
The engine strats, hairline fractures has been confirmed 100%.
Oh yeah, funny story. So my mom came over to watch the little yesterday. And I turned on the TV for her, and I know she likes Mayday Air Disasters, and I turned it on, and of all the episodes that they've ever made of that show, which one happened to be on yesterday at the exact moment that I turned on the TV? Chicago O'Hare American Airlines 191, which was the DC-10. Weird. I am figuring all that out. Because I forgot that this week was Thanksgiving. Tomorrow's stream is either going to be going through some of the documents in the Charlie Kirk alleged assassin.
I'm not going to get involved in that.
Nope, you're not going to be here for that. And the video will be delayed on the other channel because 3D life, and I forgot that it was a holiday and I had plans for some things that I did not anticipate on a normal day.
Can I just say something in regards to Thanksgiving?
Yes.
I hope, right? I know that some of you don't like me or some of you don't agree with me or whatever.
I never agree with you.
Wait, what?
I'm just kidding.
Shut up. Anyway, don't you talk to me in that kind of voice, man.
I got 1 minute.
Right. Okay. Mate, stop shouting at me, man. Anyway, I hope that you all have a fantastic Thanksgiving, and I hope that you all enjoy it. And on a lighter note, please remember, please don't drink and drive. Okay, if you want to go somewhere, please have a designated driver. Thank you. This was a public announcement. Good day. There you go.
All right. All right. Does anybody have any last words before we go? It will be a busy couple weeks. Like I said, I have content that I'm like, how am I going to do this? Like, I have so many things I need to cover and want to cover that I just don't have time for. And that I'm trying to figure out how to do, because I know what I want to do, but want to do and actually doing are two different things. She said, absolutely hate you, Spawn, blowing a kiss. Y'all have a great day, and I will see you guys tomorrow, same time, same channel. You want to?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I will. And I love I love being loved with hate. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, auf Wiedersehen.